This is Corolla Digital.
Hello, my little oyster crackers. It's me, Allison. This episode is brought to you by the new Squarespace. Squarespace introduces a new content management system, making it faster and easier to create a high-quality website or blog, plus mobile responsive designs with automatic device scaling and more than 50 other new features. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, go to squarespace.com/bestfriend and use offer code BESTFRIEND7. All right. Before the show starts, I need to tell you about a few things, and also I need to cough. Hang on. Just hang on to your pants. I did it. I hope your pants are right where you left them. Anyway, come see me live. That opportunity to do so will be August 9th at Nerd Melt. The guest is Pete Holmes and musical guest Michael Rosas. So that should be a super duper good time. And I think we have an iTunes comment of the week, do we not?
Allison wants your iTunes comments. Allison wants them, yes she does. Please leave her some iTunes comments and don't forget to click 5 stars.
All right, so this week's iTunes comment of the week comes from Frighteningly Fat Ugly Man.
And that's not even our name for him.
No, that's what he called himself. Yeah. And it's called Fun and Personable. I listen to her on Adam Carolla when he has a guest I like. Not a huge Adam fan. And so I was excited to find out that she has her own show. She's sincere and seems to connect with folks nicely. And hey, any lady who can talk to Jim Norton without blowing a rape whistle has an awesome set of ovaries, I guess. Oh, middle name, Blaney.
Thanks, Fright Fat. And he offered his middle name because that was the question of the week whenever we asked that. Because my belief was more and more people have unusual middle names, or they're copying to their unusual middle names. You know, like mine, Michelle, or Gary's, Patrick. Do you have siblings with unusual middle names?
Not really. My only sibling's middle name is Anne.
Sometimes I want to crack the nut that is Gary. I feel like you're still a mystery.
I like it that way.
Well, don't get too comfortable, because one of these days we're going to find out what makes
nut.
Gary tick. Yeah, you don't go anywhere without your security nut.
No, I don't.
But see, you're being mysterious right now, Gary. What's behind that stoic face?
I feel like that's the third time you've described me as stoic on this show.
That's because you're mysterious.
Okay.
You're a mysterious, stoic person behind a safety nut.
We should put that in the topic sombrero. How do you deal with a stoic person?
That's good. Let's do that. But first, let's tell everyone about Squarespace. So Gary and I are very steeped in the new Squarespace, and we are fans of it. If you want to design a website, or perhaps you already have a website and you want some new design options, or anything, whether you're like a novice towards web design or you're very advanced, in which case you probably already know about Squarespace, but it's a content management system and they have beautiful templates. And the thing that I think is the best thing about Squarespace, at least for me, is that they have drag and drop features, so you can make a beautiful looking website and you don't have to code. Back when I had started a blog, you actually really had to do HTML and you had to do code and all sorts of stuff, which someone like me, a delightful person who doesn't know how to do that kind of stuff, really couldn't do. And every time I did something, it was like, I wonder where this is going to show up on the page. But now with drag and drop, with Squarespace, man, I wish they had that back in my very early blogging days.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to code websites too, and I even knew what I was doing, and it still sucked. And Squarespace is really easy. It's a cool design, and the drag and drop feature is really easy to use and intuitive. And I was testing it out and playing with it. And on top of that, for the content provider, another thing that's kind of another benefit that you don't really think about while you're building the website is that Squarespace automatically scales your stuff so that if somebody's looking at it on an iPad or an iPhone or an Android device or anything, it'll show up in the most optimized way for that particular device. So just because you put your website out there as one thing on the website for a computer, when somebody goes to an iPad, it will be rearranged so that it is more streamlined for that device.
Yeah, that's actually a huge, cool thing. And also, you can set it to automatically pull in photos from Instagram or like all your social media stuff. It can integrate with Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, Foursquare, Dropbox, LinkedIn, Pinterest, StumbleUpon, and more. So it's super duper awesome.
So pretty much
and-
anything you have, it'll just link right up to, and it's so intuitive.
Exactly. Thank you, Gary. Well, for a free trial, go to squarespace.com/bestfriend. That's me. I'm your best friend, your new best friend. Sign up for a free account. No credit card needed. Just try it out and start building your website. Then if you decide to purchase it, use the offer code BESTFRIEND7. If you have 6 other best friends, forget about them. Choose your 7th. Best Friend 7, and get 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, which includes monthly and annual plans. And don't forget about free domain registration with annual plan subscriptions. Before, when I said, oh, and one more thing, that's what I was going to tell you about the free domain registration, because that's pretty awesome. But I decided to just wait and tell you, when I tell you, which I just did.
So
That's squarespace.com/bestfriend and use offer code bestfriend7. And by the way, current Squarespace customers can convert their accounts and content to the new Squarespace whenever they choose, or they can keep their site in the current Squarespace code. So they are taking care of you. Yes, safety net.
I know that most of our fans are extremely tech savvy.
Yes.
But just to make it clear for anyone out there who possibly doesn't know, a domain name is the www, where you would go to. So if you wanted to have www.ducklings.com,
I do.
Squarespace would be able to help you out with that. Whereas traditionally, you would do that on one site, and then you would go somewhere else to help you build it. They bring it all together and make it nice and easy. So it's a one-stop shop.
Gary, I did a lot of research on ducklings recently, and I was going to take a shot of my Google search history, but I didn't. But I feel like I could at any moment. So get ready for that.
You should definitely take that shot and save it, because one day we will want to use it.
Exactly. All right, so let's see. iTunes Comment of the Week question for next week. You know what? I'm just going to leave it open. You just say whatever is on your mind. Although, as always, we are kind of looking for a nickname for Stoic Gary, and I think Safety Net is going to do it for now, though. So, as always, I love you guys. Come to the live show. And here's the episode with former MTV VJ, comedian, writer, and super awesome guy, Dave Holmes.
Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone, hi, hello, it is me, Alison Rosen, your new best friend, and welcome to another exciting episode. My guest today is none other than Dave Holmes. You know him. Hi, Dave.
Hi. How
Hi.
are you?
No, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I always want to be polite and not start talking before I'm introduced.
And I always want to be polite by allowing the person to talk before I've fully introduced them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well, hi.
Hi.
Ah, it's good to be here. What a catchy song.
Oh. Okay, could you get a little closer to the mic?
Yeah.
Gary is making a clapping motion, but I think what he's saying is get a little closer to the mic.
Get closer.
You know
Okay.
why? Because I am booming.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
here we go. Let's boom together.
Yeah, I have to tell everyone that I took some cold and flu medicine
Oh, boy.
earlier,
Yeah.
and it said daytime, but because I don't normally take cold,
I feel like this is a digital version of Rosenating.
it is.
Finish your story. I
will.
already heard this.
And
Sorry
then,
to interrupt.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. This one's
Yeah.
gonna get good.
Okay.
I Googled what the medicine was that was in it because I was like, I don't know what this is, and then I read that the antihistamine in it makes you drowsy, and that sometimes it's even offered as a sleeping pill to
Oh,
people.
boy.
Yeah. So now I'm convinced that I'm drowsy. So I'm just warning
Okay.
you. But it might be in my head.
You know what it is? It's probably also mixed with something really shitty that wakes you up. You know what I mean? If it's a
that's
day
good.
thing, there's probably some
Yes.
stimulant in it, which is not good for you, and which probably, when isolated, goes into methamphetamines.
Okay.
Probably.
Good. So it's
Right?
like I drank a tea made of bath salts with alcohol in it.
There you go. There
That's
you go.
wonderful. Okay, I feel better
That's great.
now. Thank you.
The last
so
time
now I
took,
feel balanced.
The last time I took any kind of a quill, a Dayquil, a NyQuil, whatever, I took NyQuil like 15 years ago, and I woke up in the middle of the night punching my headboard, on my knees in bed, punching the shit out of my headboard.
Did you think it was someone?
No.
Wow.
I mean, I don't think so. I was so,
Did it talk back?
probably, I don't know. There was some weird dream thing, but then after that, it
Yeah.
was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm just going to
No.
have colds until I
feel-
don't have a cold.
I feel like there's people who heard that and are probably going to go up their dosage now, though.
Probably.
Like, I want to feel that.
Probably.
So we know
Felt
you
so powerful.
from several MTV shows,
Sure.
along with Court TV, FX,
Oh, yeah.
VH1, Bravo, your daily video podcast, A Drink with Dave,
Yes.
which I am going to ask you in a moment what's going on with that because I know that there's a second season sort of
There is.
hangs in the balance.
It hangs in the balance.
And you're a writer.
Right.
And you're also someone that a number of people have recommended to me would be a great guest. Yes. Jesse Thorne.
Jesse Thorne, the wonderful Jesse Thorne.
Said that you're great. You can talk about anything.
Okay.
But
I am probably going to disprove that, but whatever.
I'm ready to be disappointed.
Okay.
But even before that, when I used to have a show out of my apartment in Brooklyn, my friend Wendy Molyneux, who I went to college with, recommended you.
Oh, shit. I love her.
And I have been aware of you ever since your early MTV days as a VJ and host, but I was not aware until this morning that you were on that show with, to bring up someone that we were talking about very briefly and not in the most enthusiastic light before the show started, Jesse Camp, that I want to be a VJ. So you were kind of discovered on a reality show?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was an audition, which I blew off work to go to. Am I too far away? Oh, my God, you guys.
Make out with the mic.
Okay. All right. I blew off work, and I stood in line to audition. I just thought it was an open call, and I was an advertising guy, and I was fucking around doing, like, sketch and improv and stuff at night, and I loved music. All I wanted to do was talk about music, like, all the time for my entire life.
Who were your favorites at that point?
At that time in my life, I was all about Ben Folds 5.
Okay.
Like, my roommates at the time would hide that disc, like, literally would hide it when company would come over because I just played it all the time and sang along.
Yeah, I read that you said it was a powerful... What's the name of the album?
Antidepressant.
The
first album is just self-titled.
Antidepressant, and I thought, I've got to go get that album then.
Oh, it's the fucking best. It's the best, especially at this time of year. It's a good summertime album. But yeah, and it ended up being a thing where they televised it. It was on live TV for the last 3 days of it, and the viewers called in and made the selection, and it came down to me and this guy Jesse, who was a lovely person, but sort of an outsized character. Freaky hair, skinny, young, like 18. And and now I'm asked about him literally every day of my life, and I'm not complaining by saying that, but it is the truth. Every single day of my life,
just
by that guy,
by people like in my position, or by just randoms,
by people at Ralph's.
No, how I did not consider myself in the just randoms
You're
category.
not in the general population.
No, exactly. Rarefied breed.
Yeah, Twitter, Ralph's. Anywhere. But, like, if I'm on a road trip and the only time I ever see other people is at a gas station, I will pull up at a gas station and be like, oh, you did the thing with Jesse Camp. Yes, I did.
Well, now I have to say, what did happen to him?
I don't know. I know that he is not the real Jesse Camp that is on Twitter. That was, and I knew that it wasn't, because it was like, it didn't.
Why? Yeah. Why would it be, right?
And why would your Twitter avatar be like the first thing that comes up when you Google image search Jesse Camp? Wouldn't you have other pictures of yourself to put in there? But anyway, it's not him. And I don't know what he's doing right now. He might be at the Los Angeles Concours d'Elegance.
Oh,
which
is that on my mug?
That is French. That means concourse of elegance.
This is Adam Carolla's. Anything yeah.
Okay.
I'm drinking straight from his mug.
Wow.
Anything automotive.
Don't tell him.
I won't. Well, I'm going to have to wipe the lipstick off, though.
Okay,
that might be a tip-off.
That's fair.
And a pet peeve of his. But what made you think that hosting would be something that you would be good at? Because you are very good at it.
Oh, thanks. I didn't at all. In fact, when I was doing improv shows, I hated talking to the crowd. Like, I just felt so self-conscious. I love to do characters, and I love to be in scenes and whatever. But when it came time to, like, hey, let's get to know the audience, I was like, could somebody else do it? I have a sore throat or whatever. I hated it. I was so self-conscious. And honestly, when I showed up, I wanted to get a job as a writer. I just thought, like, I might be able to make a lateral move, and I didn't know how else to do it. I had moved to New York, and I was working in advertising, like I said, for, I guess it was 4 or 5 years.
What were you doing
4
in
years?
advertising?
All kinds of stuff. I started in media, and then I became an account guy, and just your typical thankless entry-level shitty jobs.
What was the plan at that point? Like, what? So you went to college in.
I went to college in Massachusetts.
Holy Cross. Okay.
Catholic school, tiny little Catholic school.
You're from St. Louis, right?
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, yeah.
And what did you think you wanted to do at that point?
I don't think I knew. I settled on psychology, and I was thinking about being a clinical psychologist. But then I worked at a program, a VA hospital for people with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I was too into it. Like, I just wanted to fix everybody, and I had sleepless nights, like, thinking about these guys who were a little bit fucked up, and in some cases had head trauma and would never be back to normal. And I was like, well, this is terrible. I'm either going to get really callous, or I'm never going to sleep for the rest of my life.
Right.
And,
so you take to codependence and enmeshment.
Yes, I do. I do.
Me too.
Great. Hey,
okay.
perfect. So sort of as like a stopgap until I decided like what I wanted to go to grad school for, or if I wanted to go to grad school or whatever, I started applying to advertising agencies, and I got a job, and I didn't like it, and I wasn't good at it, but I thought, okay, I'll just do this for a few years, and then I'll figure out what it is that I want to do, and working at MTV was a dream. It seemed like a clubhouse that I wanted to join, but I didn't know how to get in there. So I went and I stood in this ridiculous line and did this 3-day TV thing. And I am so happy that it happened in 1998 and not now, not only because I'm 41 now, but because like now every network has one of those shows and it's 18 weeks long, and like, they would follow me. They would have to. I'd go home to Missouri, and they'd have to interview my parents,
Right.
and my parents would be like, "We believe in your journey," and all that fucking shit. It would just be horrifying. But this was like they got 3 days of TV out of it, and that was that. Mm-hmm. And that was enough. And I still get asked about it. Very strange.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think to make an observation that is fairly well worn now. I don't think if you're just a regular person, not to say that you are, but I think if
I'm not.
But I know you're special.
Thanks.
You're a snowflake unlike any other.
That's right.
But there was a time when regular people, like Julie from the first Real World,
Sure.
decided she's regular.
Oh.
She was a virgin, very homespun.
Sure.
Could get, or Becky. She had,
good old
did she
Becky.
not have an affair with a producer or something?
right.
Right.
that
they could,
actually resembled real behavior.
Yes.
Yeah.
They could get on TV, whereas now I feel like there's probably classes for how to get onto a reality show.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there are for sure like dance moms, coaches type
Right.
of people for like for maximizing your personality.
Right.
Yeah, and that's awful. I think it was Chuck Klosterman who said now it's like now when you watch The Real World or Big Brother or whatever, you're seeing people who are the kind of people who tell you what kind of person they are. Because
Yes.
they've watched reality TV their entire lives. Like The Real World's been on literally their entire lives.
Right.
And
Right. So
so
they've
they go
already
in
given
ready.
themselves a type.
Yeah.
Do you have a type that you think you are?
Thank God I don't. No. And I wouldn't want to go anywhere near any of that shit now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, thank God I had my experience, and everyone in the world will have their experience. You know what I mean? You're gonna, whether you want to or not, you're gonna have your TV experience. You will be famous for 15
remember I was in a cardio kickboxing class in New York
Yeah.
because I lived there for a number of years, and the woman who was leading the class had on extra makeup that day, and she explained that she would not really be exercising because she couldn't get sweaty because she had an interview for the reality show she was in after the thing, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
That is great.
Yeah.
Of course that's true. And out here, I mean, they're everywhere. It's really depressing. And when you go out, like, when I go out to pitch shows or whatever, that's basically every network is still looking for it. It's like, do you, we like your comedy game show idea, but could you do a docu-soap about an erotic bakery? Like, do you know anybody in that world?
A neurotic
No.
bakery or an erotic bakery?
But a
That's
neurotic
what I would-
bakery, all
Yeah,
the better.
I
All
know.
the better.
That could be a spin-off from the erotic bakery.
Sure.
Just different types of bakeries. Well, so now why is that, though? Is that because they're cheaper to make? Is that
They're
because
cheaper
they're
to
so
make.
popular?
They're cheaper to make. They're not time sensitive, so you can you can do like Bravo does and just all day. It's the Real
Right.
Housewives of New Jersey, and which is the only time I've ever watched anything like that is when I'm like when I'm on JetBlue or something, and I'm just there's nothing to watch but that. And, it's bad news.
I encounter marathons more on JetBlue than on
Oh,
the
yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Sure.
Maybe it's the time.
It's the time that you're
Yeah.
there. I mean, you're not going to be sitting watching TV in the middle of the day here.
Right.
Probably, maybe. I don't know.
Never say never, but who knows?
Not since all my children run off the air.
Oh, my God. My parents are actually still, there's an All My Children shaped hole in their hearts.
Oh.
They had watched that show since the beginning of that show.
Really?
I feel like I grew up hearing that show and periodically knowing who the characters are.
Yeah.
But then, I'd go away to college and then come back and then be like, who is that person? Oh, well, she's the evil twin.
Yeah.
Because they killed off the original one. It's the same actress.
Yeah, right.
Which,
right.
But literally, they
No,
did do that.
Oh, that
you know?
happened. Yeah, no, I know that.
A number of times.
Yeah. More. Yeah, I know that because I watched All My Children.
Oh, you
not,
did?
Not religiously. No. When I
Are
was
you
a
sad
little
it's gone?
kid. Say what?
Are you sad it's gone?
No, it was terrible. It was the last few years were really
Yeah.
bad. They deserved to go off the air.
Yeah.
It was like listening to really boring couples therapy for the last few years. They literally every single character went through AA. Every 6 months a different character would be
Right.
like, I'm powerless. I'm like, oh God, we have to fucking go
I
through this
know.
again.
They're all trying to be Tom Cudahy.
Right. Thank you.
And
Tom did it just fine. Tom
Yeah.
did it well enough for everybody.
For everyone, except my parents. Tom was from All My Children a long, long, long time ago, like when I was
Former football
a very
hero.
a very young, a young fan that was not a fan of my own volition, but just, I was exposed to it.
That's how it happened for me. I caught the disease. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was jumped
I'm sorry.
in.
Yeah. For me, it was because of a snowstorm. We had a huge blizzard that, school was off for a week, and so I would spend the morning out playing in the snow with my friends. Then at lunchtime, that was right when All My Children was on, and my mother had sort of gotten into it, and I gave her shit about it at the beginning, but then by Friday, I was like, I don't understand why Brooke is so mad at Erica, and
I never
get into
understood
it.
that. Yeah, I know.
They hated each other, and I never really understood why. But anyway,
so Tom was an alcoholic character from
right.
a long time ago who had a bar called. Did he have the goalpost?
I think he did have the goalpost.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't
Wow,
decide.
you're good.
I can't decide if we're alienating a number of people or potentially drawing new people to the show.
Both. There are 3 people who know what we're talking about, and
Yeah.
they are delighted right now.
But when they tell their SoapNet friends, just you wait. There'll be a flood of people who are disappointed by everything except for the All My Children talk.
Sure. I love soap opera websites and message boards. I'm obsessed with message boards in general.
Oh, let's talk about that. 'Cause
Okay.
That's something that comes up on the show sometimes.
Oh, I love 'em.
But
I love 'em.
Go on, I cut you off.
No, people were, of course, furious that All My Children went off the air, and it's and there's still All My Children bulletin boards, and every now and then I'll go and I'll look, and it's little by little, people are starting to write in and say it's really gone. You know what I mean? Because there was
were
hope
holding
for a
out
minute
hope,
that
yeah.
it might get
Right.
it might have a second life online, which never really was all that plausible. Also, it was a stupid. I don't know if you saw the ending, but it was terrible. It was all these people came back from the dead. And it was, the big doctor, the big brilliant doctor in town, turns out he could raise the dead. And so
Oh my
all these people who we
God.
thought were dead for years and years.
I hate when
it's
things
terrible.
that have nothing to do with the supernatural decide to take a dip into that for the finale.
Yeah. So all these people are back from the dead and reunited with their loved ones and whatever. And then there's this big party, and JR is drunk because he went through AA, but he fell off the wagon,
of course.
and so he's drunk and he's mad at somebody, and he fires into the crowd, and that was the thing. That was supposed to be the cliffhanger. It was who got shot at the party? Well, who gives a shit? Half the party it was raised from the dead, so who cares who got shot?
Yeah.
They're not going to die. They can't die. You can't die in Pine Valley. I had to get that off my chest.
Thank you for doing it. It's an
I feel like
exclusive.
this was a safe place to do it.
Yeah, no, it's good. One more thing, and then we're moving on, so
Okay.
help me.
Okay.
But if you watch the show enough, you forget that or you lose your ability to perceive what a bad actress Susan Lucci
Oh,
is.
she is the worst.
I never realized that, so I never really understood why she hadn't gotten the daytime Emmy, because that was a big deal for a long time,
Yeah.
Until I heard some other people saying oh man, she's a terrible actress, and
Yeah.
then I saw her through their eyes,
Yeah.
which are sane eyes,
Yeah.
and I realized, oh yeah, she really is bad. I
she's
just
the worst.
thought that was just the character,
Yeah.
but it's just her.
Oh, it's really, yeah. And she's also bad in life. You know what I mean? If you see her interviewed, she's very much like the character and very affected. And it's she's an unconvincing actress all the time.
Right.
Even as Susan Lucci, she's not convincing.
She's very stilted.
Yeah, she really is. She's fascinating.
Yeah.
She's really fascinating. They had yes, I watched the daytime Emmys this year because they were on. They were on headline news for some reason.
Well, you have to for your job as a pop culture savant.
Certainly. Yeah, you got to stay up on
Yeah.
what's going on. But yeah, she gave a heartfelt speech about the future of daytime television. It was really something.
I mean, but really, what will happen to daytime television?
It's going to fucking go away because it deserves to, because it's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
It's really bad. It's not even fun bad anymore.
Exactly.
That is the kind of thing that I would love to get a bunch of people together and just storm the offices of whatever soap opera is left and just take it over, because it's as a genre, it can be compelling. It could be funny.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You mean a dramatic serial?
Yeah, but there's no reason it can't be interesting and fun and funny and But now it's all uniformly bad.
Yeah.
I would love to have a soap. You know what I mean?
I
Especially
think that
in
the
the-
non-scripted docu-series is what has replaced
Right.
them, right?
Right.
Like all the Real Housewives stuff, that's soaps.
Right. But then I don't know. I don't know who it is that you're supposed to root for in any of those shows. They all seem to be terrible.
That's the problem, yeah.
Everybody just seems to be across the board awful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway, sorry.
so back to your life. You're
Back to my
in New
life.
York.
Yes.
You're doing the MTV stuff.
All my children kept me very busy, but I did do some other things when I was in New York.
Then
where were
then
we?
what?
What? At the
Well, okay, so you were runner-up
Yep.
on the show, but MTV hired you
They
to
did.
start hosting stuff.
They did, because I stalked them.
Oh, okay.
I really made it a point to stalk them. When I did not win, I was like, okay, this is awful and kind of embarrassing. And I'd blown off a good friend from college's wedding to be there, and they were all at the bar, at the venue watching and whatever. And I was like, oh, this is awful. but I thought, okay, I'm here. I know these people. I've sort of like, I think that they know that I'm not an idiot, and like maybe I could still get the writing job that I thought was going to be what I wanted to do in the first place. So I went to the wrap party, and I just sort of made it a point to get everybody's business card, and I called out sick for the next like Monday and Tuesday, and I just was like, I'm just going to go through this stack of cards until they tell me to stop calling or give me a meeting. And after a few days, they gave me a meeting. But it truly was like, it was, I called an amount that made me not comfortable.
Yeah,
you know
so
what I
that's
mean?
fascinating, because the way I imagined that it happened was you were runner-up on the reality show, but the powers that be just realized that you had so much talent that they're like, we're not going to let this one go.
Right.
We're going to give him a show or something.
That's nice, but no.
Yeah,
I
it's heartening to hear that you had to pester them or.
Yeah. And I think that they would say that, like, oh, we wanted to find a place for him or whatever, and that's fine, and I believe
when you
them.
called up,
but
what did you say though? Because as someone who's, I'm profoundly uncomfortable ever having to do that pestering thing.
Oh, yeah.
Except
I hate
I
it.
know that every job and to getting a job almost in any field in entertainment involves it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because people will forget you as much as they say they won't, and as much as they say they want to help you and whatever. And even when
And
they
no one
mean
wants
it,
to do any work.
No, they don't. They don't.
Me included.
Right.
And
it's just, there's a new stack of shit on your desk every day, and you forget stuff. I forget stuff all the time. And so, yeah, I mean, you just, in that moment, though, I thought, like, all right, the door is open, like, this much, and I'm holding my fingers very close together. I was like, the door is open a little bit, and, like, it is my job now to, like, put all my weight against it and just open the fucking thing up. You know what I mean? Like,
force your frame through the door.
My ample frame through the door. And so I just was like, that's what I have to do. And I did, and it was really gross. And these people's assistants got fucking sick of me.
But like, you'd call and say, I would like to talk to you about some ideas I have.
Yeah, I have some ideas for shows, which I did not at all. But I whipped some together. And basically, I think what happened was they hired me on to write something, or to like help write something, like a weekend countdown type of thing or something. And then just because I was in the office and I was in front of people's faces and stuff, and I had like a little area that was mine or whatever, then it was like, oh, okay, we got a show coming up and we need somebody for it, and you're here, why don't you come test? So, and that was that. I went in and I tested for something, and they attached me to it, and then it got picked up, and that was that.
And then how long did you do that stuff?
I did that for, I guess, 4.5 years, 5 years, something like that.
And do you still do stuff from TV?
No.
Or no.
There's no stuff to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
there's
could
nothing.
host an after the Jersey Shore.
I could.
I mean, I don't know if Julissa is still doing that, but
I don't know. I gave up on the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, I did too. I abandoned Shore, and I'm trying to think. It was the last season. I didn't stay with
made it
it.
a lot further than I
The
did.
most recent season sucked.
Really?
The
Why?
first two, I don't know. I didn't really watch them.
Is that when they were in Italy?
Well, at a certain point, no. That was the one after that one. That one was pretty bad
then
too.
2 seasons ago.
Okay.
I
In the
stopped.
most recent episode, or most recent season, I watched one episode, and half of the storyline was that one of the stupid sluts that Paul had brought back to the Shore house
Right.
stole his $85,000 diamond necklace.
Well, of course.
And now I was just like, well, this is just dumb. Now
Yeah.
Now it's just being thrown in my face that these people are millionaires.
Yeah.
Right.
Fuck
right.
this.
Yeah. Are careless millionaires.
Exactly.
Lock that shit up.
Right.
Lock it up,
Don't
Pauly
even
D.
bring it to the house.
Right.
Is what I would say.
You're asking for trouble.
Straight up.
It's straight up. It's that show was really fascinating at first, I have to say. I mean, they were a compelling bunch of characters, but as soon as they became self-aware, it just went downhill.
Yeah.
Where's the Julie in that show? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
It needs a Julie.
I'm trying to think if there was even anyone Julie-esque.
I don't think there was.
I mean, for a little while, JWoww,
I guess.
because she was dating Tom, who wasn't on the show.
Right. Forgot all about Tom.
But I mean, if we're defining Julie as someone who doesn't have sex, but there was so much more to Julie.
Right. There was a lot more to Julie. She was so wide-eyed. She was really a stand-in for the audience. You know what I mean? Thrown into this brave new world.
Represented.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. That was oh god. Okay, it's out on DVD, and I Netflixed it. And I don't know if you've seen it recently.
No, I haven't.
You should. It's really interesting because, first of all, you'll remember every word. Like, you'll be shocked by how much of it you remember. Because there was always a marathon or something, and like
Right.
I was never aware that I was committing that show to memory, but like I knew what lines were coming up and whatever. It was crazy.
I think it's a part of us.
It is. It's like it's
'Cause we're
totally
old.
it's in our DNA now. Yeah, because we are old.
I mean, not old.
Yeah,
We're youngish.
I'm old. I'll
yeah,
own
old.
it. But it is also so slow. Like, it's really
yeah.
deliberate and slow, and scenes go on forever, and like there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to like each scene.
Well,
and
I think
it's crazy.
correct. You would know this, but my understanding is that the way that was shot was they would set up cameras and just film them constantly.
Yeah.
And the crew had no interaction
Right.
with the cast. They weren't allowed to, and it
Right.
really was set up like a sort of. Well, I don't know how the Loud family was done, but I just remember that was mentioned in every single article
Yeah.
about the real world
Yeah,
way
yeah,
back when. But it really was this social experiment, living in a bubble thing, and then they would, edit it down and,
Yeah.
and use the stories, but they weren't cooking the stories as much. Whereas
Right.
now, I mean, I don't watch the real world anymore, but shows like The Hills or Laguna Beach or any of that, I don't think they film them naturally.
No.
Like, they set up shots and they have them do things over and over, and there's much
Yeah.
more interaction
Oh, yeah.
with the producers.
They're lit.
Yeah.
Everything is lit.
I remember a friend of mine was a producer on that show, Rich Girls, which was, do you remember it with
Yeah.
Tommy Hilfiger's
Sure.
daughter and someone else?
Yeah.
And he was talking about how they had gotten lost on their way. The girls had gotten lost on their way to go somewhere, and I was like, "Well, you're filming them. Couldn't you just have given them directions?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, we are not allowed to talk to them.
Right.
Like, they maintain that wall, and this is a while ago. And I wonder, are there shows now that still maintain the wall?
Oh, wow. I don't know. Well, I guess, Big Brother and the
Right.
Glass House and all that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
but anything that's like more the real world serial,
Yeah,
I don't
know.
think so.
I don't know. And but I will say I haven't dove in. I've not dived in. Whatever.
You haven't divin?
I haven't divin in. Yeah, no, I can't. It's this new crop is rough. You know what is weird to me is like at the end of that first season, and I think the second and maybe even the third, they like on the last day, they would like break into the control room and like meet the crew and stuff,
Yeah.
and like, hey, let's turn the cameras around on the people and whatever.
Right, and then they would show their audition tapes and things like that too.
Yeah, but now it's just like the people just don't have a clue that there's anyone other than them in the world. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like it started being these crazy, self-centered, ridiculous assholes.
Right.
Who are just like, no, let's keep having the camera on me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's gross. Gross.
Yes.
And I'm sure I know that it's still going on. I know there's a new one. I haven't watched it. I will watch The Challenge. I'm addicted to The Challenge.
Is that
That's the real
What-
world versus the road rules.
they don't still have road rules though, do they?
No,
or do
they don't.
They
They don't. But they're still like in the title of the challenge. It is so bad, and it's the worst people. And I don't know why. I'm totally fascinated.
Is that
by
like
it, but I
what
love
the
it.
Gauntlet
Yeah,
turned
yeah,
into?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
There's certain seasons of that I have watched.
Right.
Well, then you will have this. Okay, Christina. I don't know what her name is, but she has a podcast now called Your Mama's House or something.
I don't know.
Christina. It's like Prelutsky is her last name, but that's not what it is. And she was on, and every time I see her name or I hear about the podcast, I think she was on Road Rules like the first or second season.
I
and
don't
I feel like I'm the
remember
only
her.
person who.
Pazsitsky.
Yes.
I might be pronouncing that wrong, but
She
that's
does
the way
stand
it
up.
reads.
Okay.
She had short blonde hair, and she was on the first or second season of Road Rules. It's not
Okay.
important. I only bring it up because I just don't feel like she talks about Road Rules enough or ever. Or maybe
Right.
she does because I don't really follow her that much. But
Okay.
I
Okay.
just want to share that I remember her from that. Have you
Oh,
ever
I
watched
loved
the
it.
Joe Schmo show?
Oh, I loved
That's one of my favorite.
I loved it.
That is a picture of who we're talking
Oh,
about.
I remember her.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a comedian and a podcast host now. Anyway, Joe
Oh,
Schmo.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
I've seen her.
Okay.
It's like she does stand up.
Yes.
Say, okay, yeah. I did not put that together at all.
I'm fairly.
At
Well,
all.
now I'm doubting myself, but I'm pretty sure.
Wait.
I'm sure she was on Road Rules.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, she had short hair, and I feel like she might have had some glitter on her face way back when. Yes,
Real Rules
Road
Australia.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, let's see. Who else was in that?
Oh no, she was Road Rules. She had
Road
to have
Rules.
been Road Rules.
Who else was in that cast? I'm going to need to know who else was in that
Was-
cast.
Oh, Gary's
Is
going
it
to
going
find
away?
it for us.
Okay.
Thanks, Gary.
All right. I
Joe
love that.
Schmo Show.
Fucking-
One of my
I loved
yes.
it. Danny Salas, a good friend of mine, was the executive producer of that
Okay.
show. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm
And
friends with
I was
Rhett.
obsessed with it.
Rhett
Okay.
Reese, who was one of the writers, producers of it.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and not enough people know about that show. We're actually going to have, and Rhett also wrote Zombieland, and we're going to get him on this podcast as
great.
well. But I just thought that was the most brilliant send-up of reality shows. And I thought that was going to be the end of reality shows after that. But no.
Because where can you go from there? Well,
right.
it turns
they
out you
found
just further down the
a lot
tubes.
of places you could go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. And what I loved, all right, this is... I'm just going to say it. You can cut it out, whatever. But apparently, according to people, not Danny, but other people I know who worked on that show, you know how like the guy, like the central guy,
Joe Schmo,
or whatever his name was, you're super emotional through
Matt
the whole
Kennedy
thing.
Gould.
Matt Kennedy Gould.
I was invited to his wedding, but I didn't go.
Oh,
I should have gone.
you should have gone.
This would be a much better podcast today.
How?
If I had.
How were you invited?
Rhett invited me, but I didn't live near.
Damn
yeah,
it.
I know.
Go. Well.
It's a little
you won't
late.
get another. Yeah.
I know.
Anyway, but my understanding was that because he got very emotional when people would get voted off, and like he cried a lot, which was I found super endearing. And apparently he just was like a huge pothead, and he couldn't. There was no place for him to smoke, so it was like a forced period of sobriety. Which,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which like forced him to feel emotions and stuff.
That
so
probably would have made him question his own interpretation of events
Yes.
as well, that all of
Yeah.
a sudden he's going cold turkey.
Yeah.
All right, and this is for the listeners at home, this is going to really bring this to life for you. We're looking at a photo
Right.
of the Road Rules cast.
Oh, and then there was
See, remember her?
that was the Susie season.
This is the Down Under season. She was on Road Rules Australia.
Road Rules Australia.
We'll
I don't
post
remember
this picture
any of
on
the
the site.
boys.
Who's
Which is
Susie?
weird. Susie was the blonde.
But what was she known
But
for?
she was like sort of real sweet, but I met her a bunch of times, and I think she also might have been super evil and crazy. Maybe not, though.
okay.
Maybe not. Yeah, that was right around when I was there, I think.
And you had
think.
forgotten her.
I had forgotten. I had totally forgotten.
98,
I just saw
I think
Christina.
it says.
Okay, yeah,
98,
that's
yeah,
exactly when I
that's-
was
yeah.
there. Holy crap! Wow. All right, so
There
there
you
you
go.
go.
Now you
and I'm
know.
sure that yeah, she was probably on the challenges or something. She's
I'm
got to
sure,
talk about
yeah.
it. Christina, if you're out there, you got to talk about it.
Yeah, that's right. Tweet us and let us know.
Oh, we could talk all day with her about that shit. I really could. I know I could.
What was your favorite season? And then we're moving on.
Oh God, of Road Rules or of the
Real
challenge?
World. Oh.
Real World. Okay, well I could.
Sorry,
Okay.
I was
I don't.
putting my own taste onto your taste.
I can't distinguish between seasons of Road Rules because I didn't watch it that much.
Seattle doesn't even stand out to you? With
Oh
Irene
no,
and the
Real World,
slap?
Real World, yeah. No, Road Rules all
okay,
blends
right.
together
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
But the Real World, let's see. Yeah, Seattle was great. David, so fiery, so like unpredictable.
I know.
Different color eyes.
Yes, that's what I remember.
Different
about
color
it. And he
eyes.
had an affair with a producer.
He had an affair with the producer.
It came out in the book that I don't own.
Oh, God. That's right. Yeah, because there was a whole. Yeah, he too. He was like a Susan Lucci, a little bit of a bad actor.
Yes.
In his own. Nathan, the other military guy.
Yeah.
Irene actually went to Holy Cross for a little while.
She had Lyme disease.
She had Lyme disease. And I ran into her at Sketchfest in San Francisco, not this past year, but the year before. And we had a long talk about Holy Cross. And I wanted to talk about the Road Rules, or Real World or whatever, but I couldn't bring myself to talk about it. So
She might still be under contract and she can't.
She probably can't. She
For the
probably
rest
can't
of
talk
her
about it.
life.
She probably can't talk about it.
You know
But
what?
yeah, that was a good one.
I liked the England season.
Yeah, that was underrated.
And then I remember I saw, what was the name of the woman who was a model who had a dog that crapped in their
Jacinda?
house? Yeah, Jacinda and Chris Hardwick, who were going out
That's right.
like a million years ago. I saw them at the Weenie Roast, and it was a celebrity
Wow.
sighting.
Wow. I ran into Sharon in New York once, and I was fucking starstruck.
Sharon.
The
Which one's
British
Sharon?
black girl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I remember my friend studied abroad in England, and she saw, who's the guy who cut his tongue? Nigel?
Neil.
Neil.
Yeah.
She saw his band Unilever or something.
Wow.
I'm not sure if it's the right
That's a
name.
pull and a
They
half.
make soap. I mean,
Yeah.
Unilever is a company, but I
right.
think that was the name of his band. She saw them in a club. Okay. All right.
I love them.
So then so after MTV, what did you do?
Boston was good too. No, Boston was not very good. Sorry. I know-
Montana?
With Montana.
And-
no, you know what? Yeah, I take that back. It wasn't very good at all.
Yeah.
New Orleans also. I like New Orleans.
This is where they start blending to me. I
Yeah.
know there was
After that-
a blonde girl who was Mormon.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm lying. They don't blend.
Yeah. Yeah, you know
Remain
this one.
distinct.
The sort of good-looking gay guy.
Yeah.
Who immediately is like, I have a secret. It's like, come on. Come on. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, now we should move off it.
Right.
Although I honestly could talk about it for 12 hours.
I know, I could too. All right,
Someday.
so let's talk about Dave
In
Holmes,
real life, we'll
though.
do it. Okay.
So then what did you after MTV?
My last 6 months of MTV, I was working out here with my friend who worked on the Joe Schmo Show. It was we had like a game show thing for MTV called Kidnapped, which did not go very well. It was like the set was like a bombed out like warehouse and like it's like a group of 4 friends and we kidnapped one of them and the other 3 have to do a bunch of challenges to let him free and whatever. It was not very good.
Did it frighten the kidnapped friend?
No, we never frightened them, but it was just disgusting sort of like Fear Factor-y kind of things. And that was all going on. We were shooting that. It hadn't aired yet, but we were shooting it like during the time of September 11th. And so when after everything got back to normal, we went back onto our set and it looked like a building that had been destroyed. It was like, this is not going to go well.
This is the wrong time to be all grungy and deconstructed.
Right.
And bombed out, for
yeah.
lack of a better word.
Also, the show itself was not great. But whatever. So that was sort of my last assignment at MTV, and it was like in the last 6 months of my contract, and I was like, I think I'm going to move out to LA and just not renew and just try to do something new. Because the idea of like I got I was approaching 30. And I got the impression that I was probably not going to last a whole lot longer because it's like Menudo and you don't,
right.
unless you're in the news department, you don't really last super long.
Like Serena Altschul and
like
Tabitha Soren.
Exactly.
Whatever happened
and John Norris. Serena is on CBS this morning.
Oh.
Yep.
I had no idea.
Tabitha Soren married Michael Lewis, and they live in Paris. And John Norris, I don't know what John Norris is doing. They kind of like laid off half the news staff, and he was one of them. I don't know what he's doing now.
And Kennedy is on KFI 640 now.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I was like, I think I'm going to... The idea of coming to the end of my contract and having them say, we're not going to renew, was like, I couldn't bear it. I just couldn't bear the thought. So I was like, I'm going to move to LA and just, we'll, run out the contract on this show and that'll be that. And they're like, that's probably a good idea. So I moved out and I just sort of got back to what I was doing. I started doing a lot of more like sketch and improv and all of that kind of stuff. I've been doing a show at FX most of the time I've been out here, which is sort of like a movie.
Is that DVD on TV?
DVD on TV, right.
And now that started in 2001, is that right?
2, I think 2002.
We don't need Gary to look that just up. Had a moment of thinking, that's where I know that guy.
Ah, okay.
That's exactly what just happened.
Okay.
I literally did just go like,
Gary,
all right.
Let's just bring this alive for the people. Gary backed away from the microphone and put his hands up in the air and looked like,
done something.
Oh my God.
I like DVD on TV. I knew you looked really familiar, but I just figured it was from, seeing you around the local scene.
It's probably that too. I am definitely involved in the local scene. But yeah, thank you. It's a
great show.
It's it has gone on for a long time. That sounds like I'm like faint praise, and it's a fun show to work on.
That is quite an accomplishment, though, to have gone on for a long time.
Oh, sure,
actually, yeah,
sure, yeah.
And have you been the host from the beginning?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Wow.
And it's I think it has gone on for a long time because there's not a whole lot of show to it. You know what I mean? It's about the movie, and we just sort of pop up and give a fact or whatever. And mostly, in fact, the reason why it's still on is that it's really like ad friendly, and FX. It has incredible shows, but they're not the world's most advertiser-friendly shows. And so we're sort of like, we're the show that brings people in because we can sort of integrate. We can, brought to you by Pepsi, here's, the Silver Surfer or whatever the hell. And it's, it's good because there are a lot of advertisers who are sort of squeamish about, Louis and Sons of Anarchy. And, there's like, it can get a little violent and a little randy and whatever. So, so it's good. I mean, we're profitable, so it stays in the air, Well, go ahead.
Well, that reminds me that I wanted to mention one of my favorite sponsors.
What?
GoToMeeting with HD Faces.
Them.
They are wonderful. Here's the thing. If you're like me, then the notion of having to get a group of people together for an in-person it wouldn't be just in one face, it'd be in person. An in-person meeting is daunting and irritating. Daunting because when are you ever going to find time that everyone is going to be available, and irritating because you have to reschedule and reschedule and reschedule because someone, I just checked my calendar and I forgot, or this got added to my calendar. By the way, why do people have other people who are adding shit to their calendars? I mean, I understand why. Yeah. But come on.
Yeah, stop it.
Yeah, just
you can
stop
be in charge
with
of your own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
write the shit down in a book. Write it in a book.
Write it on your hand if you have to.
There you go.
But GoToMeeting is a way that you can have a very effective meeting with people from the convenience of your own house or a coffee shop or the beach. You can do it on your computer. You can do it on your iPad. You can do it on your iPhone. Gary and I have used GoToMeeting with HD Faces, and it is, well, as I said the last time I mentioned it, after the meeting was over and I had to go back to just emailing, I felt lonely because my little friends that were in my computer were gone. And that makes me sound pathetic, but it's true.
Yeah.
It has HD faces, so you can see everyone really well.
Great.
And then you can, hear them, of course. It's a video conferencing kind of thing. But unlike some other video conferencing software, this one actually works super well, and it's very easy to use. And you can pull up documents, and then you can work on them. You can give someone else control of the keyboard.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely excellent. It's like the picture is totally clear, so you can see the people in full HD and stuff. You can have up to like 6 different people that you can see and they can see you, and then you can add up to, like 19 more, I think, for a total of 25 that are listening, who you can't necessarily see, but they can be in on the conference and they can speak and listen as well. But what Alison was just talking about that's really cool is you can, share your screen, right? So you're working on a script and you bring it up and somebody says, well, I have a really good idea that would improve this scene. But instead of just going through the back and forth of him explaining it to you, you can actually click a button and he will take control of your mouse and keyboard. So he will move it around, make the change, and then you take control back. And it's real-time collaboration. And Alison's right. Unlike a lot of the other, free stuff that comes built in with your computer or, with your email, this video conference system is really reliable, and it works. It's built for business, and it doesn't break down.
Start hosting your own face-to-face online meetings today with GoToMeeting. And my listeners, that's you guys, can get it free for 30 days. So for 30 days, it's absolutely free. You can have as many meetings as you want. Don't wait for this special offer. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click on the Try It Free button, and use the promo code Alison, because I'm Alison. That's why that's the code, in case you're wondering.
1 L or 2?
There's 1.
1 L.
But I've been assured that if someone accidentally puts in 2, that they'll still counted as my listeners, because they are.
Smart.
Be sure to use the promo code Alison, and if it's not obvious, they obviously will be tracking how many people use the promo code Alison. So if you sign up, it helps my show, and then I can help you by just being more delightful.
By being more delightful.
I
Can I
know.
just say something really quickly?
Yes, you can.
I think we all remember that meeting in the Real World New Orleans house where they were working at the cable access station on a show, and Melissa and David had a project they were going to do together. David totally dropped the ball, and then he kind of blamed it on Melissa, and she lost her temper in front of the client, which is not okay at all.
No, it's not.
If she'd been at home using GoToMeeting, she might have been surrounded by
her stuffed animals,
her some plants that clean the air.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She might have had a chance
Her
to
dream
just say,
catcher.
hey, you know what? I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm not going to react.
She
One of
could
those
have looked
inspirational posters.
Right,
Right.
a cat.
Right.
A cat says just hang in there,
Right.
Or a vision board, and then she
Yeah.
could have centered herself.
Yep.
You're right.
But
you're
she
right.
didn't, and I think we all know what happened.
It's so dicey when you have to meet in person.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I know we're kind of joking, but I seriously do not like it.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have somewhat antisocial tendencies?
I do. It takes me a long time to, Pete Holmes said it perfectly. He said, life is a river. When I'm very busy, I'm very good at doing meetings and doing auditions and all that kind of stuff. If my day is packed, then it's great. But as with everyone, there are times that it is not packed. And I try to keep busy as much as I can, but you can't help it to have certain weeks where it's I have one audition or I have one meeting or whatever. This is a week where I have a meeting, and it's all I can think about is how weird and awkward I'm going to be at the beginning of it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Whereas if I had a bunch of stuff going on, which sometimes I do, and I'm sure I will again, it's then you get into it. You flow with the river. But if it's stagnant and you just the water isn't moving and there's just dead fish and, lily
right.
pads and stuff, then it's awful.
No,
But,
that's so true. It's
yeah.
if there's not a lot in your week, then the meeting on Thursday becomes the focus of everything. Whereas if there's a whole bunch of stuff, then on Monday, Thursday seems like ages away. There's so much time between now and Thursday, it's not
Right.
even in your head.
Exactly.
I notice with me, when I go out with a bunch of friends, when I get home, I start thinking, oh, I'd like to see this person and other people. So when I'm social, I want to be more social.
Yeah.
And when I'm not, I don't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And I tend to keep myself in the don't category, which is
Mm-hmm.
probably not good. Because that's the thing, is that when the river's flowing, it's easy. But if the river's not flowing, I don't want to make it flow.
Yeah.
I'm hesitant to
Oh,
book
yeah.
a bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah. And it's like, especially writing more, I find that I have a lot more time at home, just sitting, looking at a computer screen in my pajamas in my office, and my dog is at my feet and whatever. And it's very comfy, and I don't want to leave it that much. You know?
Right.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
it's difficult to power the river. Also, we have speaking of social, we have a pool in our backyard, my boyfriend and I. And we've kind of turned it into like a little fun kind of
You're
tiki
gay?
bar.
What?
Yep, it's truth. And so because of that, in the warm months, our friends just come over. And so, like, going out kind of doesn't happen all that much in the summertime, and it's great.
Yeah.
You know, my friends show up with beer and ribs and stuff, and it's great. It's great. I don't want to go out.
That is great. At different times of my life, I have been the person who lived in the house or the dorm room or whatever. That shows you that I'm pulling from college. Where everyone would gather at my place before parties. I was kind of the ground zero for
Sure.
fun.
Yeah.
And now I'm not at all. Like I was thinking the other day how many people I've had over to my apartment. It's very few.
Yeah. Where do you live? I mean, in a general way.
I live in Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know why that. Well, I do know why that is. It's because I never invite people over.
Well, there you
how
go.
How did you get to be the social house?
Because we got a pool. We got a pool, and there's a cabana, and we just we turned it into like a little bar, and people brought over their tchotchkes and whatever, and now it's like the bar and cocktail at
Nice.
the end.
Right. Oh, that reminds me of something that I wanted to ask you.
Oh.
I forget what I was reading. It may have been the Reddit that you did, the
Okay.
AMA.
Uh-huh. was
But
fun.
you were saying that Tom Cruise is like the most charismatic
Oh my
individual in the
God.
world.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've
Crazy.
never seen the appeal of him, but then when I read that, I thought, well, maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is. He's charming the people in the room.
Crazy charming. And like I had always thought that he was handsome and stuff, but you know, as the years went on, he got weirder and weirder, and so like I was less and less of a fan. I guess I think I interviewed him for Mission Impossible 2, I want to say, and he was just doing a junket, and it was like a thing where it's, you know, you go in and it's like it's a gauntlet. Like he's got to go from like room to room and be interviewed by a bunch of different people, and so he came in to our room, and we had like a little audience. And my friend who was producing the segment was like, "Oh, hey, Money," and he's like, "Why did I call him Money? I don't ever call anyone Money. Why did I just do that?" And then I was like talking to him, and he like did his Tom Cruise laugh, but it seemed so genuine, and we just like totally like over the course of the 5 or 10 minutes or however long it was that we had him, I was like, I bet I'm going to keep in touch with Tom Cruise. Like I feel like we're really hitting it off. Like he gets me. We're going to be pals. And then it's like it's totally fake. It's just, you know, there's this crazy Scientologist movie star bullshit that he just owns. And it's like I get it. I'm not a fan of his acting. I haven't seen one of his movies in a very, very long time. I didn't see Rock of Ages. Probably won't ever. But I don't know. I get it. Like I get why I get his appeal.
Yeah, we've talked about that on this show. Like there are certain people that just really make you feel special for the moment that they interact with you, and then it makes me think, I don't think I'm one of them. Like
I'm for sure not one of them.
I'm not a lingering, intense eye contact kind of person.
Nope.
I mean, I can be charming in my own way, but if I'm meeting a stranger, they know that I still consider them a stranger and that I might have been uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That I didn't want to hang around too long talking to them.
Yeah.
And that I wondered, was I... Well, here's the part where it's crazy. But
Come to the next Alison Rosen's New Best Friend live show.
Oh yeah.
August 9th with Pete Holmes. And have one of these awkward interactions on your own.
Yeah, you can show and tell.
Yeah, that's right. That's not a ringing endorsement for seeing me in person. But, because then I'll be like, wait, is that... Because I'm the person who's always like, wait, are they really talking to me? Are they... Or am I inserting myself in an exchange that I wasn't meant to be in, even though they're talking to me? What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
I have an extra level of unsureness that I don't think does me any good.
No. Yeah, it's super confident people who are like great in those kind of situations. I just want to study like monkeys, you know. I'm fascinated by like people who like immediately have a nickname for you or whatever, or just know a little fact about you or whatever. It's like you're good and it's a skill, and I'm like, you know, it's fascinating to me.
Well, and I have talked about wishing that I was the kind of person who made small talk in line at the grocery store or in an elevator.
Yeah.
But having to accept that I'm not, and I probably never will be.
Right.
But there are certain people who just spread joy with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And like I have moments of being that way. Maybe for some reason, whatever, something will happen, and I'll make a joke, or I'll be talking to people, and then I'll be like, I am totally one of those people right now, just
Yeah.
giving it away.
Yeah, yeah. And you know
But I
what
never-
it is?
Not normally like that.
It's the second thing you did that day. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if you did have a meeting
Yes.
or you did do a podcast or whatever, you're in the river.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's flowing, and like, yeah, I will probably be like that from not like that. I'm not Tom Cruise. But like, but I will definitely be
Right.
more, I'll engage with strangers more after this because I'm like, hey, I'm in a good mood. We're having a fun conversation. You know
But
what I mean?
see, you and I are both hosts,
Right.
So we both can obviously turn it on. Yes.
Yeah.
I can. I'm much more comfortable. I can do anything if I have a microphone in my hand.
Oh yeah. Yeah. In real life, not as good.
Right.
Not as good. Fake reality, I do quite well in. I
Yes.
think. You know what I mean? Like the
Right.
fake reality that I'm in charge of, where everyone
Yeah,
has to
is
listen to
that what
me,
it-
I am
yeah.
very good in that reality. In real
And-
life, not at all. Not at all.
And where your reason for being there and your role in the proceedings is defined already.
Yes.
I think that might be
Yeah.
the difference as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And also, like, you have to listen to me and you have to let me finish a sentence.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And even
Have
if
to do
you're
what I
not,
say.
the
Yeah.
people who are going to be watching this or listening to it are.
Yeah.
So, and then it'll just be funny. The fact that no one else would.
Yeah.
Anyway, a drink with Dave.
Yes.
Let's talk about this.
Let's
this
talk
is
about
your daily video, or
Yep.
describe what it is.
Well, it's a little 5 to 10 minute daily talk show where I talk to interesting people and have a drink with them.
And it's it's really good, and it's really
Thanks.
well produced.
It is really well produced. That
Where
is a guy
did you?
named
How'd you hook
Brandon
up with that?
Wolowitz.
Okay.
That was at the end. Talk about life being a river. The end of 2010, I guess it was, which was if you remember that, like everybody was not busy that year. Like that was a very slow year for everyone I know, and it was getting down to like the end of the year and holidays and whatever. And I went out with a couple of my friend Brandon Wolowitz and my friend Will Hudson. Brandon's a TV producer who I'd worked with before, and Will is kind of like a social media guy. And we sat down and we had some drinks at Dylan's, and we were just like bemoaning our like slow year, and then we got on the subject of like what we would do if we could do something together. And then it was like, well, why don't we just do it? Why don't we just pretend that we got hired to do that job and just do it? Because we know we have enough people who can run a camera and can edit, and we know interesting people. We can book guests that are fun and funny, and like the ones that we don't know, we can go and meet. Let's pretend this is a show. Let's just pretend we're getting paid for it and just do it. And like it was kind of one of those grandiose sort of things that usually doesn't make it through the hangover.
Right.
I
I was gonna say,
yeah.
like a drug-fueled conversation.
Totally.
Let's form a band.
Yeah.
I'd love to form a band. Let's do it.
I've had that conversation many times. Nothing ever comes of it. But this particular one, like they actually like held me to it, and we did it. And Brandon's very good, and Will's very good, and it came together, and I think it looked beautiful. We shot it at Improv Olympic at Hollywood and Ivar, and it was just it was a lot of fun. So
Now, would you shoot? How long would you shoot for? Because each episode is, like you said, 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah. It really, everyone we talked to, we probably talked for like 25 minutes, and then we would cut it down to 5 to 10, because people don't want to be looking at a video for much longer than that.
Right.
So we there's like bonus stuff online at our website and whatever. Like if Jimmy Pardo and I sat and talked for an hour because you can't talk to him for less than an hour. So anyway, we are doing a season 2.
Good.
Yeah. We did a Kickstarter. Didn't work out. We asked for a lot of money, and you live, you learn. Kickstarter is a weird thing.
Kickstarter, if you don't make the amount you're asking, you don't get any of it. It's like a bad game show.
It is. It's like a terrible
Because
game
weren't you
show.
like, oh yeah, we've made
Yeah.
$11,000, and then
Yeah.
you're like, and we don't get to keep it.
No, we don't get any of that money, but that's fine, And it's we through that whole experience, we made some we got some interesting sort of. I don't want to give too much away, but it looks like we're gonna do it.
Okay, and will that start?
We hope in the next couple months.
Okay.
But yeah.
Excellent.
I don't want to. I just don't want to jinx anything. I'm not trying to be like mysterious, or
Right.
whatever. I just there's been some interest, until everything is until we're on set with the cameras running, I don't want to say anything.
Can't
You know
believe
what I mean?
how cagey and withholding you're being.
know,
Jesus
I
Christ!
know.
After all we shared.
I'm the anti-cruise.
All right. So I wanted to ask you something.
Okay.
Okay. On your Reddit thing, someone called you out on a tweet where you were complaining about women who loudly
sports fans?
talk. Yes.
Yeah.
And I asked this as someone who never talks about sports because I don't understand or care for them.
Me either.
And I think I know the kind of women you're talking about.
know
They're
exactly.
showing off that
You
they
know exactly.
right. They're like women who make out with each other in front of guys.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you said that you could relate to the overcompensating.
Yeah.
Because either you said that you see a lot of that in gay men, or as a gay man you can relate to that. Can you talk
Yeah.
about that a little bit?
Sure.
And then also talk about your experience coming out.
Okay. Well, okay, I'll talk first about my experience coming out, because I came out a long, long time ago. I just, and I was out the whole time that I was at MTV. It's just nobody asked. And there was there wasn't a network of like blogs and Twitter and all that shit.
Right. There was no Perez at that point.
There was no Perez at that point. And even if there had been, I guarantee you he wouldn't have cared. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm just not, like, I've never been terribly, not just the media, but actual specific gay people, I'm just not interesting to. You know what I mean?
Why
I just
is
don't
that?
do,
Is
I don't
it
know.
because you look so middle of the road?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not, I'm not like fabulous, and I don't have like abs. I'm not, you know what I mean? It's like
You're pretty fabulous.
I'm fabulous in my own special way.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there's
You're
a
not
very
flamboyant.
Well, it's not even that, because I have my moments, but like I don't know. There's a very specific sort of kind of person that does well with what we call the gay community, which is really only just a small sort of sliver of it. Like the Abbey and all of that shit is like, that's fine, but that's a sliver. And what you see on Logo and in the magazines and whatever, it's a weird little sliver. And I'm not interested in it, and I'm not interesting to it. So
do you mean to say you're not interested in what is currently being presented as quote unquote gay culture?
mostly, but I'm also like, I don't fit into it, and so there's really no. It was a struggle just to get. Like, I did an interview with Out Magazine, and I guess it was 2001 or 2002 or whatever, and it wasn't because like it's 2001 and I'm going to come out. I was always out. Nobody gave a shit, and I was sort of on. I was on them to like pay some attention to me because, at the time I had, I was on air all day, most days. And, it was, I thought like it would be nice just to be like out, even though I am, out in my own,
right,
world
but
or whatever.
to be
publicly out, I thought would be a good deal. But there was no way to do that on your own. You needed
there was no
print
Twitter
magazine to do it for you.
Yeah.
And they weren't interested for a long, long time. I finally just wore them down. That's the theme: wear people down.
right.
But to your first point. Or to your first question, when I came out, I was at Holy Cross, which is this tiny little Catholic school, very conservative, and I was I was out when I was there, but like I had this weird thing of like, I'm gay, but I'm not one of those guys, you know what I mean? So I felt like I had to like prove myself all the time, you know what I mean? And like
To prove that you weren't one of those
to prove
guys?
that I was like, hey, I'm not the weirdly enough, for like the first few years that I was out, I was like I would never make any comments about other men or like show any interest in dating anyone or whatever. I was like, I'm gay, but I'm not the kind of person who's like attracted
Right.
to guys or anything. I'm just gay. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I went way out of my way to make other people feel comfortable around
Okay.
me, which really was like I was trying to get comfy with it myself. I think a lot of guys do that,
Right.
And I was just a big ding dong for a long time. Like I really pretended to like basketball for a long time. And
Were you trying to show that like I'm still cool?
Yeah.
By your definition of cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I was trying to prove to myself and to other people that it was like, hey,
Right,
whatever,
like
but I
I'm
was
just
an
like
idiot.
you, but
yeah.
gay.
Yeah, which I probably.
I mean, at that age, everyone is doing that.
I think so. And I'm hard on I look back on that time in my life and I cringe. But I think a lot of people in their own way,
Yeah.
about their own thing, do that also. But yeah, it took a long time for me to just be like, I'm a gay person and everyone knows it, and like that means I like men and I should talk about it. It's not weird. I'm not making anyone uncomfortable by talking about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's no prize for being the most repressed gay guy in the world. You know what I mean? You don't win any kind of an award or anything. So talk. Like you've got friends, talk to them, and you know what I mean?
Did you realize that on your own, or was that something?
No,
were you
on
in
my
therapy
own.
at all? Or okay.
Yeah, that was on my own. I'm in therapy now, but at the time I was not. At the time I was just like, I looked around my life and I was like, this is like, I am living like someone who's not a happy person, and I should act like I should like be myself and be a happy person,
And at what age did you realize you were gay?
Oh, always.
You never felt attraction to women.
No. I think I thought that I was like bisexual at first, but the straight half was just wanting to be normal and not, freak my family out or whatever.
Right. And what was your family's reaction?
They were pretty good. They're Catholic and they're, and it's St. Louis, and this was, I guess I came out to them in like 92. Wow, coming up on 20 years. 20 years out of the closet.
Have a party.
I probably won't. They were okay considering. My mother, like a full year after I came out to her, called me at my desk at my advertising job and was like, just in the middle of the day. And I said, hello? And she said, I have a great idea. Like, not even hello, just, I have a wonderful idea. What is it? She said, how about a really masculine girl? And I just was like, no. And that was the only time I've ever hung up on my mother. It was, they were cool about it, but it definitely took a long time for them to really like accept it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I think they were cool the way that I thought I was cool at the beginning. Like, it's totally fine if you're gay. Just don't express it or talk about it in any way ever.
Right.
And then other than that, it's completely fine.
Right. Right. It's not unlike. Well, it's kind of unlike, but it makes me think of the person who's like, but some of my best friends are black.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't understand that if you continue down that path, explaining how overly cool you are with and respecting the differences and celebrating them, you sound kind of ignorant and like an asshole.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You can go too far with it.
Oh, yeah, and really, if you take one step in that direction, it's too far. It's
Yeah.
just very silly.
Yeah.
So it was weird. It's a long, weird process. I'm going to some weird gay party. Not just a weird gay party, but I'm going to like a gay party from here. There's a Logo is throwing a thing. I generally don't go to that kind of thing because it's like, again, I get a lot of weird, like, I don't know. I feel self-conscious when I'm there.
Right.
I just feel out of place. But I'm going to do it.
Do you feel like you need to gay it up more?
No. I just sort of feel like it's. I don't know. I've never been super comfy in like, sort of like gay incorporated sort of environments. You know what I mean? But whatever. I'm going to stare that fear in the face tonight.
You do that.
I'm going to fucking stare it down.
You do. And so how did you meet? And your boyfriend is a musician. Oh my God,
Yes.
I just remembered. We exchanged tweets.
What?
You and I go way back.
Okay.
Because I've been following you on Twitter for a while, and you said something about you're like, I'm at a certain kind of club or something about Orange County. And I wrote back, are you at this place? And it was in Fullerton.
Yeah.
The guys from
Slide
Lit.
Bar. Slide
yes,
Bar.
I forget, but you had said something. It was very vague and it was a little bit derogatory. And I had just been there, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the hell is this place?"
Yeah.
And I instantly knew, I think, that it was a Slide Bar,
Yeah,
but I can't remember what the tweet was. Great story. Anyway, how did your boyfriend?
I love Slide Bar because it is so silly. You
Yes.
know? It is so Orange County.
It's so Orange County, circa like 2003,
Yes.
but pulled into the now, and it's not an old
and not
place.
pulled that far into the now.
Right. It used to be a coffee house called The Hub, which was this really cool place that I used to go to, and that when I was in a band we had played at The Hub.
Yeah.
But then, now the guys from Lit, who are, I don't know if are they still in a band?
They're still a band. They
They
come
are?
out. Yeah, they had a new album within the last year.
Wow. I had written about them a bunch for the OC Weekly, but if anyone doesn't remember, it's kind of Ed Hardy-ish. That the vibe.
Very Ed Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you from there?
Yeah, I'm from Orange County.
All right. What is the deal with the socks up all the way?
I don't know, but it goes with a wallet chain.
Yo, sure.
And with creepers.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
What is that?
I don't know.
I don't get
Maybe
it at all. And it's like, and it seems to only be in Orange County.
Yeah, Gary is from Orange County as well.
What's the deal with the socks
What's
up all
the
the way,
deal
Gary?
with with dudes who are cool wearing their socks up all the way?
I don't know. I've encountered this too. I was out with a friend playing golf. He was wearing shorts with black socks that came up to the middle of his shins, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, man?" Like, aside from the fact that that's just bad etiquette and ugly. It appears that you're trying to say fuck you to somebody because you could have just rolled those down and then they would have just looked, I was wearing dress shoes, Yeah. But no. He was wearing basketball shorts with black dress socks that went up to the middle of his shins.
Ugh.
And when I asked him about it, he was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, God.
Like, I don't know, Brogan. Fuck off.
Brogan?
Yeah, that's a...
Is that your name?
No, it's an Adam Carolla show term about, surfer guys calling each other Brogan.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
So how did you meet your musician boyfriend?
We met at the other room on
know
Abbott
this
Kinney.
Okay.
Which there's the room, the other room, and another room in New York, which are like my three favorite bars. They're just beer and wine, and they play great music, and I love them. And they finally opened one here on Abbot Kinney in Venice, and I wanted to go. It was the night before my birthday, and some friends took me out, and he went out, and we were just waiting for a drink at the same time and struck up a conversation. And he's a wonderful musician, super awesome guy. Mm-hmm. He's great. He's great, and he plays the slide bar.
And
which I really love.
What style of music is it?
He's in a band called the Mighty Regis, and it's like Celtic punk music, and then the style like the Pogues or Dropkick Murphys, that kind of thing. They just opened for the Dropkick Murphys this past St. Patrick's Day, which was super fun. And yeah, they're a great band. He is super talented, super talented, and a good guy.
Alrighty,
a good guy, not a great guy. He's a good guy. He's an okay guy.
And have you've been together since when?
It's been 7 years.
Have you been together straight for 7 years, or was there any breaking up in there?
No,
straight.
No, yeah, straight through.
I'm impressed by that.
Thank you. Yeah, he's a good guy. What's not to like? You'd like him.
Okay.
You would. He's cool. He's mellow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's just like a good, understated guy. You know, Los Angeles is like full of people who are like trying to bowl you over with personality and whatever.
It's exhausting.
It's fucking exhausting, Allison. It really is. Especially when they're really fronting. You know what I mean? Like when it's like
when there's
Tom
a
Cruise's,
desperation and a manic energy to it.
Yeah. Then it's awful. Especially in the world of improv, which I still am in. You know, there are a lot of people who are just always doing a fucking bit. And you can't talk to them without them calling you governor or whatever. And it's like, shut up. Or you give them a quarter for the meter and they bite it like they're a newsie. Like, cut the shit. What are you doing? Let's be people.
Is it all retro bits now?
It's mostly retro bits, yeah, I guess. Yeah. Ugh, motherfucker. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel at all times I'm always... my default is to be a little bit shy.
Yeah.
So at all times I'm always thinking I should just, more words and more, just bigger and more and blah. And I'm not talking about in performance. I just mean in general, like
right.
If you don't let someone know who you are, they can't get to know you.
Yeah.
That kind of bullshit you tell yourself. And yet, in general, I prefer fewer words from other people.
Me too.
And
less is more.
Oh, but come to my live show and get to know me.
Yeah,
I think it's that most of my being social these days is like while I'm sort of in my work environment and I'm trying to do work at the same time or something.
Yeah.
So.
And you're doing it at Meltdown?
Yeah,
yes.
all joking aside, Meltdown, August 9th, with the aforementioned Pete Holmes.
Yeah,
I love.
Of the river
so do I.
analogy.
Love.
And musician Michael Rosas,
who is excellent.
Yeah.
And his song that he performed on our show, which I believe is called
Saturday Friend.
Saturday Friend, is up on YouTube. Allison and I have both tweeted about it. It's an awesome recording of that song, even though the live version is killer. So if you like that song, go check that out on YouTube. And
He used to be in the band Smile. And then Satisfaction.
Okay.
And I don't know if your boyfriend's band plays Orange County a lot.
They do, actually. They do really well in there.
Okay, they may have run into those bands at that time.
Set them up on a bill.
Yeah, let's do it.
Together.
All right.
How much do you love Meltdown? Can I just interject? Because I do my show at Meltdown also, the Friday 40.
Okay.
I forget the dates. Shit. I should check the dates.
We'll post them on the
we'll
post them on the episode page. But
Great.
Meltdown,
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
It is the
great.
best venue in the
People
world.
too. Like the
Such
people
good
that work
people.
there, so cool.
Such good people, so well run, and it attracts a crowd that is interesting. You know.
Wait, what's your show?
It's called the Friday 40. It's 40 questions about the events of the last 7 days while we all drink 40s.
Oh, that's
Bud or Bud Light.
good.
It's fun. It's like if you remember Remote Control back in the day.
Yes.
It all comes back to MTV. It's sort of like as Remote Control was to TV of the 60s and 70s, we are to what just happened. It's like instant trivia about the events of the last week.
Right, about the past.
About the very recent
immediate
past.
Who hosted Remote Control?
Ken Ober. The late Ken Ober.
Yeah, I knew I had some knowledge associated with that. And
Yeah.
it was sad
It
when
is
he
sad.
died.
It was very sad. Sad
Top-
when anyone dies. Almost.
Yeah, there's exceptions.
There
But
are
for the most
exceptions.
part, death is sad.
Yeah.
And unavoidable for the
Okay.
most part.
Let's retreat. Retreat.
Topic sombrero.
It's the topic sombrero. We asked for topics and you sent them in. It's the topic sombrero. Now pick a topic and let's begin. It's the topic sombrero.
Sometime we've got to get video of everyone dancing to that song because everyone just danced to the song. Gary the most.
The cameras will be set up soon.
Okay, good.
That was Muppetational, what you just did. You there were some head moves that were
Thank you.
straight up Ernie.
Muppetational is like a Muppets for the public, like very presentational of you.
Yeah,
It's not a quiet Muppet moment. Okay,
Nope.
Someone sent this in to the hat.
There it
As
is.
a dude of sound mind who appreciates that people get their shit straight in their heads, I often wonder if a good, objective friend who listens and asks questions is just as helpful as a therapist. Now, we already determined, because I asked, that you,
Yeah.
Dave, are in therapy.
Yup.
I have been in and out of therapy a lot.
Uh-huh.
And actually, not in and out a lot, but I've, spent some time in therapy.
Do they get rid of you? Do they fire you?
No, actually, but I wish.
Yeah. Get out. You are.
We're
I
done
can't
here.
handle it. Yeah.
I can't take your money anymore. Your time is up forever. Anyway, I'm trying to think if I should answer first or if I should have you go first.
Can we talk very quickly about my therapist first?
Yes,
because this
of course.
is amazing.
Of course.
My therapist lives on the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu, and I go to his house. And instead of sitting in an office
Just
for an
like
hour,
growing pains.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Alan Thicke.
Oh.
I mean, not in Malibu, but he had an
Okay.
office in his house.
Okay.
It's right when you walked in.
Okay. This is right on the beach, and instead of an hour in the office, we go for 90 minutes out on paddle boards into the Pacific Ocean.
Oh my God,
And
that's
we have we have our
amazing.
sessions in the Pacific Ocean.
Does he do that with
dolphins.
everyone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
Pretty
his
much.
website like therapist with boat?
I think it's Ocean Mind.
Okay.
Is his thing. Yeah, it's like a new business, and we had rented his house as a location for the FX show. And I was talking to him, and he's like younger than me. And he looks like Kelly Slater, and I was just fascinated by him. And
I'm fascinated by him.
oh yeah, you should be. It's crazy. And yeah, it's like his little shack. It's all full of like surfboards and guitars and psychology texts. And I was like, what's the deal with all the texts? And he told me the story, and I was like, I am your newest patient. Next week. When are you open?
I have a crush on him already.
Oh, he's amazing. He's amazing. You should. It's
Is he
crazy.
taken?
I think he has a girlfriend.
I
think
mean,
he has a
I
girlfriend.
am, but I'm
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he's a good-looking dude.
Yeah, that actually would never work because I've only had female therapists.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced that if I had a male therapist, regardless of how he looked, I would develop feelings for him.
Right.
Which then some people say, but that would actually be a good situation because you could work through whatever.
Oh.
You know, if it brings up something, you work through it. But I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
And you know what? Honestly, like I say, he's a tremendously good-looking guy. But that has not happened. I'm happy to say that it's like, okay.
Right.
You know, I'm like, my feelings are not going that
Good.
direction. I would have done it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I would still go, even
Yeah.
if there wasn't danger of that, because you get to surf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get to talk about your problems, and then there's a dolphin. You know what I mean?
So cool.
It's fucking great. And it is the most Southern California thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the kind of thing that, like, I'm not even going to try to tell my family about it. You know what I mean? It's just,
Right.
It is, for 8 reasons, not something that they would ever understand.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's weird. My therapist in California would, she was always very well put together and very, I don't know what the word, like precise and, measured words. And she looked like Hillary Clinton, actually, but more attractive. Uh-huh. But very like, I am a woman with a career. And then my therapist in New York would like sit on the ground, and she looked kind of really hippie-ish.
Yeah.
And it was just weird. It was so not what you'd expect in each city. It was
Yeah.
the reverse,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
of what
Yeah.
you'd expect.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Did you watch this Political Animals? I know we're not even answering the
Has
question.
that started already?
It started last night.
No, was it good?
I saw some of it. We had been out by the pool drinking beer all day, so it was like it required more attention than I was able to pay it. But James Wolk, who is my absolute number one dreamboat, is in it. He plays like the good son. There's some twins,
Right.
like in a good soap opera.
Of
There's a
course.
good twin and an evil twin. He's the good twin. I love him. I love it. It's waiting for me on my DVR. I'm gonna watch.
I'm gonna
him.
have to check it out.
Oh, he's
I
fine.
had my
fine.
my favorite dude on TV
Let's get a picture.
for a while was the guy who plays Cesare on the Borgias on Showtime.
I've never seen it.
It was good, but I was watching it and Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones soon overtook it. And then I
It's
haven't
too many
even
capes, right?
Yeah,
you
there's
gotta
a lot.
pick one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in my head they were very similar, even though
Yeah.
they don't exist in the same time.
No,
Because
but
Game
still.
of Thrones is outside of
A
time.
lot of capes.
Right. Very, very attractive. But then I haven't even watched this season, so
Yeah.
I gave up on him.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't watched any of those. Anyway, so to the
Oh,
question.
there's your boyfriend. I mean, not your boyfriend.
No, that's not
it's
him.
your other.
The other one.
Oh,
James Wolk. WLK.
My bad.
Fucking Gary.
Jesus Christ, Gary.
Okay, so is a
Good objective
a good
friend
objective
who listens well the
friend.
same as a therapist.
I don't know if it's the same as a therapist, because I think one of the great things about therapy is that you do it and it's like that's what you're. Oh my god!
Almost a little. He's like Eric McCormick crossed
little.
with who's the guy?
Thank
with
you. Thank you for
with,
that, Gary.
Gordon Levitt. Jason
Okay.
No, what's
How
the
about
guy's
that?
first? Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, but just such lovely, friendly eyes. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Beautiful
Yeah.
eyes. James
Yeah.
Wolk, look him up.
It's attractive.
Oh, he's a good-looking dude. But the thing about like a therapist is that it's like a transaction.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like, and it's I don't want to like make my guy sound like he's a whore or whatever, but it's like I kind of get there, I do my business, I
And
leave
then he
some money,
sleeps with you for money.
and then he sleeps with me for money.
No, he
not.
doesn't sound like a whore.
But you know what? Like it's I go in and like. Here's what we're doing for the next hour and a half,
Yeah.
and then I give you money for it, and that's that. And I don't have to feel like I think with a friend who's skilled at listening, which I have a lot of. If I go on too long, I feel bad. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because it's not their job.
There
Their job is to
aren't
be
the same boundaries.
right. And then you got to listen back, which I don't want to do.
I know, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And I do think that a friend that listens and can be objective can help for sure. You know,
Oh, yeah.
definitely avail yourself of that if you can't get to therapy. But the reason I think it's not the same is because with a therapist, first of all, they're listening for different things than the friend might be.
Yeah.
They have a bigger picture because they don't know you
Right.
than your friend. And because you are probably going to be more open to certain things that a therapist might say.
Yeah.
Not that you're going to be open to everything they say, but it's going to hit you on a different level. You're going to be more open to it than something your friend might say.
Right.
Even if you're like, I want you to be totally objective with me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think a therapist can guide you in different directions than.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously it depends what situation you're talking about. You know, there's
Right.
certain things where a friend can be just as good,
Mm-hmm.
but for the most part, I think it's not. I am in the camp that it is not at all the same.
Yeah. And if you're talking about an interpersonal problem, your friend might know all the people involved and might tell you when you're wrong. And I don't want to be told that I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that's you say like, tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Even if you think it's going to hurt my feelings, tell me the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
And then if it does and it hurts your feelings, you're going to be upset with your friend.
Right.
I find.
Yeah. And you can't
Theoretically.
just like write a check and be like, okay,
Yeah.
now you've done that. That thing is over. Now let's go back to being friends. No, you carry it with you. Everywhere,
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, so there you go. We have a clear answer.
Yeah.
No.
Right. Get in therapy. I think it's just me or everyone time.
Sometimes
What is this?
It's another segment.
Oh.
something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
Dave Holmes, just
Wow.
me or everyone. Yeah. Thank you, Trap Dog, for the excellent music.
You have great theme music.
Thank
You
you.
really do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it means a lot. You know, honestly, it's like it really it zips the show right along.
thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you to Trap Dog, who's a musician named Tom Rapp, who has done the music for the show. These songs come from when I did the show as a Ustream show in my apartment in Brooklyn. So they have a rich history. Not all of them, but most of them come from that time.
Right. Ustream. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That must have been fun.
It was really fun, actually. Yeah, it was like some of my best memories of living in Brooklyn were all the like having bands play in my bedroom, not my bedroom,
yeah.
my living room, and all of that stuff. It was very fun.
That's great.
But you know, I think there is a much greater audience for podcasts than for video.
Yeah.
In fact, and now you as someone who does a video show, do you find that you're up against that thing of like there's just not the audience as much?
A little bit, but that's why we make them 5 minutes,
Right.
You know, so that you're not, because
Yeah,
I
mine
would
was
love to talk for
3
hours.
hours.
Yeah, see, I would
3
love to do
hours.
that, but you can't. I can't expect somebody to be sitting in front of their laptop for that. long.
Right.
Even though I do every day, I still.
I do too, but it's not. But if someone said watch this 3-hour thing,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I do not. I don't.
Get it.
I won't even. I oftentimes won't even go to movies.
Yeah.
Because I don't want. I feel like I don't have the time.
Yeah.
But it's like at home. What the hell am I doing?
Yeah,
I did
just
have
gonna
the
dick
time.
around at home.
Exactly.
I just saw Safety Not Guaranteed. Delightful. First time I've been to
haven't
movies
even
in
seen,
forever.
Moonlight.
I haven't either.
Moonrise Kingdom.
I haven't either. And it seems like our duty.
I know.
You know.
I hear it's really good too.
Yeah. I'm sure it's
Okay.
great. Anyway,
so
sorry.
Just Me or Everyone is where people send in things that they do or think, where they think, is it just me or everyone?
Yeah.
And then we say whether we also do them.
Okay.
Okay. Todd Hoyer says, I empty all the old water out of the tea kettle and fill it back up again, even though I'm boiling the water anyway. I do that too.
I do too. Yeah. Me too. Everyone.
Okay. It's everyone.
Yeah. That's so weird.
Isn't that weird?
And even if you weren't, it's still just water that's been sitting there. Nothing
Yeah.
terrible has happened.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I don't know why I'm doing it.
Yeah,
And then sometimes I'll actually take a cup and I'll start to put the purified water in it.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, wait, I feel like I should be rinsing this out first. And I'll dump that out, then rinse it with regular water, and then put the purified water in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, rest of America, where there's a drought that's very bad right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's all try to be better. It is everyone, but everyone should try to be better.
I read my emails again. Okay. G. Lupidio says, I read my emails again after I send them, then get pissed off about errors I can no longer fix. And I think there was another one that was very similar, and it was that it was something about I read my email. Was it Gary, you don't have to get it, just if you remember. Was it to admire them?
It's right there in the lower left. No?
No. It's not. Oh, maybe not everything is visible? There's 3 rows of 3?
Rob Talk? That's not it?
No, there's another one. It's okay.
Coming in a future show.
Yeah. Well, anyway, more than one person sent in some variation on the
Yeah.
theme of reading emails after you send them.
Right.
I will do that if it's something where I guess if it's something where I feel like I articulated something I felt in sort of a, and it was kind of long and I just want to reread it and just, luxuriate in my own wordsmithery, I might do it.
Yeah.
Or I often have the feeling, oh my God, did I send that to the right person? Because let's say it's someone that I email a lot, like Gary, I'll just, type, I'm like not really paying that much attention. I'll type in G, it'll autofill the rest of his email address.
Yeah.
It's almost like that thing where you drive home, but you weren't aware of anything you saw on the way home.
Yeah.
Like the email process, it's so fast, and then I send it, and then I'm like, holy
a
shit,
minute.
did I send that to the right person?
Yeah.
So then I'll go look at it.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
about you? Do you ever do this?
No, I never do because I am a perfectionist with spelling and grammar and punctuation. I am to a degree that's not okay. I'm really persnickety about it, and so I would never send anything out that I haven't looked at many, many times. And even in texts, I capitalize. You know what I mean? Oh yeah.
I've gotten very lax about it if it's an email that's just a conversational email, I'm very haphazard about capitalization.
Yeah. I feel like I would like to relax about it, but I'm afraid to let myself because I feel like it's a slippery slope. And then I'm doing Y-O-U-R when I mean Y-O-U apostrophe
That's
R-E.
the fear. That is the fucking fear.
That's the fear. I don't think it'll ever happen.
And the 2-2 problem.
Oh, there, and there. Forget
Yeah,
it.
I know.
Then and then.
Oh.
That's the one that gets
well,
me.
that's the
How
one that gets
fucking
me.
hard is it?
Because that is.
That means different things.
Well, and I think that's someone. If I see that, I think this person doesn't know.
Yeah.
That it's different.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, that's what I always think about all of those things. Is that they
Like
don't
when
know.
someone writes of instead of have.
Yeah.
I would have rather.
Would of, yeah. They don't know. They wouldn't have done it. I mean, should of is not a thing.
Right.
Yeah, they
But
don't
it's
know.
phonetic, yeah.
They don't know. And you shouldn't get out of 4th grade with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's college graduates who have jobs and stuff doing that. It's great. It makes my blood boil.
Now, I didn't know about fewer than, less than
Yeah.
until, I don't know, within the last 8 years or something. But I
Right.
mean, or even fewer than that.
Yeah.
How
Hey.
did I graduate without knowing that?
That's that is.
Is that
it's,
refined grammar?
It's a little refined. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little. That's. I just did a pilot for the History Channel called "How Many People Does It Take?" and it was about a process show, like how many people does it take to make a deck of cards or a bottle of whiskey or whatever, and so the network wanted there to be do you think it'll be more people to make whiskey than it would be to make a deck of cards? Like they always want to have something to make the viewer think or whatever. Which I don't know that was necessarily the way to go with it, but whatever. But it required me to say at the end of every commercial break, when we come back, we're following, we're going to see how many people it takes to make a helicopter. What do you think? More or less? And I was like, you guys, it's fewer. It's fewer. You know that, right? It's fewer. I'm like, yeah, we know, but it's like
They're gonna relax that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it flowed better for me to say more or less.
Right.
And so I did, through gritted teeth, I did it. It's awful.
I'm sorry.
Awful. Yeah.
It didn't go.
Don't even get
did
me
it go?
No, it did not.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah, that's probably why, right?
Yeah.
Grammar.
I know.
You got to bring it with the grammar.
Now, people also, and if we didn't alienate everyone with the all my children talk,
Okay.
the
Because I got plenty more of that.
the grammar talk,
Yeah.
that'll get them back. People
love
mess
it.
up myself a lot. They
Yeah.
insert myself.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't need myself.
Yeah.
And now I'm blanking on all the instances where people say it, but
But,
they'll be
yeah, I
like,
know what you mean.
like who went to the party? It was Frank, Dick, and myself.
I want Frank Dick to be one person.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
Just the two of us, Frank, Dick, and myself. Because you could just say Frank, Dick, and I went to the party.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I know that I've got one, and it's on the tip of my tongue, but we'll think of it as soon as we start talking about something else.
Okay.
But there's another thing that everyone fucking does. Oh, I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
Each movie that I saw was better than the next. No, it wasn't. I watched the Miss America pageant. Each contestant was more beautiful than the next. That means they got less beautiful. It's more beautiful than the last. Right?
Oh, right.
If you're saying like it just got better and better,
Right.
that means it got
they're
more beautiful
in
than the last.
descending.
Yeah, that means the last one was fucking ugly, right? A lot of people do that.
Each was more beautiful.
Each more
That's
whatever
so interesting because
than
it didn't
the
jump
last.
out at me.
Yeah.
As incorrect, but you're right.
Yeah.
See, but in
annoying.
the one that would really and always does get me in that kind of is the fucking up of then and then to the point where it's like, what'd you do last night?
You've been stuck on this since then, haven't you?
I can't get over this one. This one is like the biggest pet peeve in the world for me because I'll get an email from my friend and it's like, we went to Dylan's and then we went and played beer pong, and I'm like, mother.
You got
Or
fun friends
it's like,
though.
you know,
I like your friends. I want to
Right.
hang out with your friends.
Steve is smarter than
Yeah.
Joe, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Well,
really?
They are both smarter than
They're
you.
Do you
fucking smarter
remember
than you. Yeah,
when
exactly.
you didn't have to know how someone didn't know grammar all the time? And by that, what I mean is, I remember I met this guy and I sort of liked him. This is when I was playing in a band, and he and I emailed, and he was talking about an amp, and he's like, I would never buy that amp again. 100 watts is too much power. T-O, much power with like 10 exclamation points. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, my crush on you just went away a little
Yeah.
bit. Even though I don't think you liked me, but no, I chose.
Yeah,
because of your over punctuation. Even though now I do that, and this. But I was thinking that it didn't used to be that you emailed with everyone or texted with everyone,
Yeah. You didn't have to know.
or were able to read their Twitter. Now it's
Yeah.
very clear.
You would hear their voice, and you spelled
Right.
it. You spelled it.
Exactly.
You spelled it right. You would just hear it and spell it in your head.
When you
right.
said that, I just imagined a you.
Yeah. See, it creeps up on you. Okay, there are two more, and then we should.
Okay, then we'll move
We're
on.
going to alienate. Like people who aren't listening to this are alienated.
I know.
The reason being is that drives me crazy. I didn't like that movie, and the reason being is that it was
Right.
too long. No, the reason being it was too long. Right.
Oh, okay.
That drives me nuts. Also, and this is a big text and Twitter thing, when somebody really loves something, and I don't know why it's all about movies today, but I love Moonrise Kingdom, but Loveeee.
Yeah, that's La Vie.
Yeah, that's like, why are you repeating a silent letter?
Right. Repeat the O.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's good.
I
See,
am a
now
joy to be around when it comes to words.
Now I feel like, do I say the reason being is that?
You might.
Did I feel like I did.
You didn't today. It would be so embarrassing if you did.
I may have.
For me.
Well, see, for me, I could imagine saying the reason being is that as I'm talking, because I'm thinking as I'm talking, and it was just like sort of a space filler.
Yeah. It's
I'll
a
never
word.
say
It's
it
an
again, no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Hell no. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah,
I like
let's
these.
do it. Okay, Patrick O'Lee 27 says, whenever I see the word awry, I say it awry, then feel stupid.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to think that lascivious was lascivicious.
Oh,
See, I
I like
paused
that.
for a second because I forgot.
Yeah.
It still sounds a little wrong to me.
Yeah.
It should be lascivicious.
Lascivicious.
And chic, C-H-I-C, always looks like chick to me.
Yeah.
And, well, there's another one Lambast.
Lambast?
It is lambast, right?
Yeah.
Why does everyone say lamb-based?
Who says lamb-based?
I swear to God, I've heard some
Who
lamb-based.
says lamb-based?
I've heard
That sounds like you're getting
Making
ready to
food?
make an
Yeah,
awesome,
sounds like
Bobby
delicious
Flay.
dinner on a spick.
It's going to be lamb-based.
You know, like a turning lamb that's been basted.
Oh, I was thinking a stew that is lamb-based.
Oh, right.
yeah.
That
Using-
as
I
well.
was thinking
Using
of a
this lamb
basted
as
lamb.
the
Right.
base. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you
neither
could
of
do
which
both.
involve chastising.
No.
I'm fairly certain I've heard lamb-based.
Well, they're wrong.
Okay, thank you. Then it
As
made
we-
me wonder if I had it wrong
Yeah.
this whole
No,
time.
As we have discussed, everyone is wrong about everything all the time.
All right.
I have a friend who said epitome for a long time.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, but then also in an email, like phonetically wrote epitome. Like so and so is the epitome, but like
Yes.
spelled out like it would like it sounds. So I was like, okay, so you know both of those words.
Right.
You're aware that they kind of mean the same thing, but you don't know that they're the same word. That's amazing to me.
I always have not problems, but my brain often initially misreads resume, resume.
Oh, okay.
So it's just send in your resume.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
we will resume. Mm-hmm. Okay, the Poozer says,
The poozer.
I tend to take much longer poops than needed.
Nope, don't want to talk about it.
Are you anti-scatological stuff?
I'm not. I don't love it, but whatever. Let's
You
do
know-
it. We're halfway through.
Speaking of Wendy Molyneux,
Yeah.
who's a friend of mine from college, and people who are listening don't know, but she's a writer for Bob's Burgers.
And one of the funniest people in
yeah,
the world.
Hilarious. And does she still do improv?
Not
She
as
did a
much as
lot-
she
She did
should.
a lot of improv, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, in college, she was very against scatological humor.
Yeah.
And I'm very for it.
Yeah.
So it was, I always felt bad
Yeah.
when I'd make her have to leave. But anyway, I remember seeing, a long time after college, seeing that grammar was wrong. But oh well, it's spoken. It's all real loose right
It's all
now.
good. It's all good.
Much
We're
time
loose.
passed, and I was about to say something, and I'm like, oh wait, you don't like scatological humor. And then she's like, no, I'm past that now.
Okay. Well,
She's
good.
okay with it, yeah.
Yeah, she's
anyway,
on a Fox animated show now, so she better get used to it.
I tend to take much longer poops than needed because I just love the word poops. Because I'm playing with my phone. Used to be much more efficient before cells. I actually don't have that problem.
Me either.
And making Dave uncomfortable. I will say,
I don't care.
used to be someone though who'd I had to read,
Oh, me too.
and now I don't ever read. I don't know what
always read.
changed.
I always read.
You do.
Yeah.
On your
sometimes
phone
it is the
or
phone. Yeah,
book?
sometimes it's the phone, but no, it's no longer than usual. Like it's either that or some Men's Health or some kind of crap.
Right.
You know
Some
what
kind
I
of
mean?
bathroom reading.
Some sort of bathroom reading. Yeah.
You have to read.
Yeah. I feel incomplete if I don't.
What if you're in a public restroom, or are you one of those who won't?
I will not.
You
I
won't.
will not. No.
See, college broke me of being particular about where I went to the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I will in a pinch, but I would prefer not to.
Gary?
Want to weigh in?
Yeah, no, not really an issue. I do read, and I don't do the public thing if I have to sit down, unless
Yeah.
it's a serious emergency.
I love how delicate you are
Yeah.
with your word choices here.
But I'm wondering if Allison's being truthful, because I would have put money down that she would have gone the other way on this JMO, because, and I obviously listened to this show way too many times because I remember this, but there is a past episode where you make a joke that the toilet is where you do your temple running, and that's an iPhone game.
Oh, yeah!
So
It's temple running.
Temple Run
Run.
is an
Oh.
iPhone game.
Yeah, I
Very
forgot.
popular, and she made a joke in a recent podcast about that. No, not recent. Actually, I think it could have been Pete Holmes. It was an old one, but
There was a time.
what of it?
Jeez.
Boom.
Holding my feet to the fire.
Roasted.
There was a time. I feel very lambasted.
Oh, we've
Just
talked about
kidding.
that.
Yeah.
Call back.
There was a time where I was playing. For some reason, when I'm at my boyfriend's place, I do more reading on the toilet. I don't know why. Why is that? Well, he has a stack of magazines and things
there you go.
right there. That might be some of it. But I think that. So then maybe I'm thinking I'll read a magazine. No, I'll just play this video game on my phone.
Right.
In my crappy bathroom in my apartment, it's small. It's not conducive to relax. You just want to get out of there as fast as you can. Maybe
I've
that's
had
what it
those.
is.
I've had those, yeah.
It's not a room you want to luxuriate in.
Right. My old house, I'm not like a bought. I was renting a house, and it had this tiny little bathroom. Like there was a sort of a separate shower, and then there was like this little tiny bathroom, right? And there was a huge full length mirror on the door
So
facing
that you
the
could
toilet.
watch yourself as you went.
Yeah, and there
That
was
doesn't
no
sound
room
good.
in there for anything else. And even when you opened the door, there wasn't like enough. It wasn't like here's where the full length mirror goes, so you can
Right.
look at yourself before you leave. There was no place really to do that. So there was no other purpose other than to watch yourself
yeah.
going number 2.
And?
So like that was the first thing I took down. I was like, this is going away. This is going out of the
Yeah.
garage today. Yeah, I couldn't possibly.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen myself. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd want to.
I don't want to. I know that I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's
We all know what's going
right.
on. Yeah, no thanks. I like these. This is fun.
Thank you. Oscar Love, this will be the last one. Oscar C. Lovecom says, on my unscheduled days off, I really have a hard time getting up and moving. And I feel like doesn't everyone?
Yeah, I think we covered that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's, when the river is not moving, the river's not moving.
When the river's not moving, I have a really hard time figuring out what time of day to shower even. This is like a real issue for me because I know that after I shower, I feel better. Or maybe before I shower, I feel kind of useless and
Yeah.
like, what the hell am I doing? And yet, I have trouble making myself shower if I'm not going to be going anywhere or seeing anyone. And then also, every single day, I'm like, am I going to work out today? Am I going to exercise? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't want to take a shower first.
Right.
And then, so I don't know. It's like it's ridiculous because if I just made myself do it when I got up,
Yeah.
I would feel better, but I
Yeah.
don't ever do that.
Yeah, and it starts you off in a great way for
Exactly.
the day.
Well, but
Oh.
I'm sorry to jump in, but don't you feel, at least I feel, and do you feel the same, that if you take a shower and then just sit around your apartment for 3 hours, that somehow that's been wasted?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what did I waste?
I don't know, but I feel that
Soap
way.
and water?
Yeah, but you feel like you are gearing up for something, to go and
Yeah.
do something, go into battle.
Yeah,
when
but
you
once I
shower.
get out of the shower and I get dressed and I'm like all put together and then I sit back down at my computer, I just feel like,
Yeah.
well, that could have waited 3 hours and then I would look all perfect when I'm going out into the world.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to never want to put on makeup if I didn't know if I was going out because I felt it was a waste of mascara or
makeup.
something. And yet
Yeah.
then if someone would call me for plans, it would take me a while to get ready, you know?
Right,
If I'd
right.
just been ready, it would be easier.
Telling you, it's gotten to the point though, and I absolutely sympathize with that guy, and I think it's everyone. On weeks where I have like the one audition or whatever, I have started to think like, should I just work at a Starbucks for like 20 hours a week?
Right.
Like, should I have some sort of super flexible job that like I can just call in and say like, hey, I'm coming in for 20 hours. You know, I'm going to rearrange the muffins or whatever. Just have something, because when you have like, if you are at a job that you aren't connected to, all you can think about is all the shit you're going to get done when you get home, and you tend to do it because you have less time to do it, and you're under the gun and whatever. Like, I feel like in order to keep myself like motivated, I need some stupid job.
See,
I need to be a fry cook.
I've had periods of time where I think that as well. And then I think, or I could volunteer somewhere, or I could this, or I could that. And
Right.
then the fucking list of all the things I should be doing with my time begins to be another thing that just makes me freeze up.
Yeah. It's like I'm going through that now, where I'm like, instead of thinking of all the things I could be doing, why don't I do the things that are on my list? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or like pick 3 of them and just do them really well.
See-
rather than like have a billion things on the list that I could do,
Yeah.
and then you're paralyzed by like what you want to start
Right.
with, and you can't do everything well.
And
you know?
I tend to be someone who tries to do a little bit of everything all at once and doesn't get anything done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As opposed to the people who realize that the way to be effective is like choose one chore on your to-do list. Just
Yep.
do it till you're done.
Yeah.
Cross it off.
Yeah.
You get stuff done. As opposed to I'll be like, I'm going to clean up like this one pile here and
Right.
I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And
Yeah.
it's like, what did I do today? I spent most of my time on Twitter somehow.
yeah, totally. And I moved that pile over there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And for some reason, when I'm cleaning or rearranging or whatever, I do like, I can get to about 80%, but I always leave a little bit of it there. I don't, even when I move into a place,
Yeah.
there's always one shelf that's just where I throw everything.
Yeah.
Or now it's actually, it used to be contained to that, but now I move into a place even less, actually. I
Right.
don't know why.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know. Well, alas, we are
What?
pretty much out of time.
Damn it!
I know,
I could
yeah.
do this all day. You guys are fun.
Thank you. Well, you're going to have to come back.
Great.
That's just how we're going to do it.
Anytime.
Okay. Well, so tell us, where can we find you, and what should we be aware of that
Let's
you're
see.
doing? Plug away.
I will plug away. We're doing the Friday 40 at Meltdown Comics, which we told you about. You would be an awesome contestant.
Is that
You should be a
every Friday?
contestant. No, it's not every Friday. We're hoping to settle into like a twice a month kind of situation. But my co-host Scott Gimple is a writer on The Walking Dead, so he is spending a lot of time in Atlanta with zombies. So
Do you feel like you painted yourself into a corner with it having to be a Friday?
we have thought about making it calling it the 40 and just doing it some night or whatever. But it's fun doing it on Friday night because it's kind of there's a happy hour aspect to it. You know, we're all drinking and stuff.
Friday
Not
works
that you
with
can-
my schedule.
Yeah. So we you never know. You never know. But we will be doing it. We're doing it at some place in Atwater Village in late July, and then
Bigfoot
Lodge? Atwater Crossing.
No, I've never even
Some
heard of
new
it.
place. Yeah,
That sounds great.
It does sound great, doesn't it? And then Meltdown in early August, and then early September, I think again. But the specific dates, I'll send you guys when I find out what they are.
Excellent. And we can follow you on Twitter.
On Twitter, at Dave Holmes. Do a monthly show called Mapping the Heavens with Rob Delaney, who also was in my class with Wendy Molyneux back in the day. That's the third Thursday of every month at UCB. And
Drink with Dave. Where
drinkwithdave.com.
Okay.
I also write for vulture.com every
New
now and
York
then,
Mag.
which is fun. I don't know. Just follow me on Twitter. I am not shy about promoting myself on Twitter. So if you want to know what I'm doing, follow me.
Well, thank you
You'll get an
so much,
earful.
Dave Holmes.
Thank you very much,
This
Alison
has been
Rosen and Gary.
delightful.
Thank you so
and
much.
Thank you, listeners, for listening. You can follow me on Twitter at Alison Rosen. You can follow the show's Twitter feed at ARIYNBF. That's Alison Rosen is your new best friend, not Aryan boyfriend. I know that you guys all say that and think that, and I've heard it
I'm gonna
before.
follow you right now.
Okay. You can follow Gary on Twitter at GPatrickSmith. And thank you again for listening. And go to GoToMeeting.com and sign up for your free trial. Please use the promo code Allison. That will help the show. Gary, what am I... and we've plugged it a bazillion times, but August 9th at Nerd Melt with Pete Holmes and Michael Rosas. And I think that's it. I love you guys. See you next week.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Thank you for choosing the Alison Rosen Show. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. That's right. That's right. Those good times don't seem to end. That's right. That's right. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now it's time to go. Hope to see you next time for the Alison Rosen Show. Yeah! Yeah, Alison Rosen is your new best friend.
This is Corolla Digital.